I like ROH. I've never said a bad word about ROH. But personally, and I've said this before, I find the TV show difficult to get into. And that's not totally their fault. They've got a lot of restrictions. The taping schedule really kills the crowd for one. And the best wrestling out there is going to seem less remarkable if the crowd is dead for it. But it's more than just that. They don't have many resources for budget reasons, so they're shackled with a lot of limitations. And at the end of the day, there's really only so much they can do in terms of writing and production. And I like more of a mainstream feel when I watch wrestling. That's just my preference. Now, they do have the best in-ring product. Out of all the companies on TV, ROH has the best wrestling. But because of the limitations they're working under, they really have to focus on just that. So a lot of the time, you're watching wrestling just for the sake of watching wrestling. And if no-nonsense pure wrestling is what you're into, then great. But for me, that starts to feel a little bit tedious after a while. I'm not criticizing ROH here. I'm just saying that the restrictions they have make it hard for me to really get into the product the way I'd like to. And unfortunately, I really don't see that changing, because unless they get a big infusion of money, they're probably going to stay right where they are. They can't afford major advertising. They can't afford to get like billboards in Times Square or something like that. They can't afford to make big offers to get major name talent. And they can create all the homegrown stars they want, but inevitably they're going to lose them to the big companies because those companies can pay more. Hell, I mean, I think Bryan Danielson said he signed with WWE to pay future medical bills, didn't he? I mean, he wasn't going to make the money to do that in ROH. There's only so long you can destroy your body in 60-minute matches for a couple $100 a pop before you start to think, hey, if I want to have some money in the bank when I'm 70, something about my work situation is going to have to change. So ROH can create their own stars, but they can't keep them forever. Maybe they can get a name talent for a show here or a show there, but they can't hold on to them. They don't have the money. And if they don't have the money, they can't advertise enough, they can't afford name talent, they can't grow their business. The homegrown stars are fantastic, but they don't draw the way the company needs them to get to the next level. Hell, they're doing internet pay-per-views now because they lost their pay-per-view deal because no one was buying the shows. And being on a small fringe cable channel doesn't help either. I mean, plenty of people don't even have HDNet. I don't have HDNet. I have to watch the show on YouTube. I mean, they're treading water right now. They can stay afloat, but that's all they're doing. Unless they get a lot more money to work with, they're not going to grow their business, they're not going to lose their restrictions. And if the restrictions are still there, then I'm not really able to get into the product, and I suspect it's that way for a lot of people. So it's really an unfortunate situation, but that's the brutal reality of it, and sadly, I don't see it changing anytime soon. Holy crap, dude, are you serious? Do you really need to ask my opinion about this? Which company has a better tag team division, WWE or TNA? I think it's pretty obvious, don't you? If it were TNA or ROH, that would be a much harder question to answer. In this case, it's pretty damn easy. TNA. WWE really doesn't have a tag team division. They have tag team titles, but the division, if you can even call it that, is a goddamn joke. I mean, what kind of teams do they have? They've got the Hart Dynasty, who are the champions, and yet they're not even on Raw most weeks. They've got the Usos, who have pretty much become jobbers. They got the Dude Busters, if they're even still around anymore, I don't really know. And I think that's it, actually. That's the whole tag team division right there. That's pretty damn lame. Now, what does TNA have? TNA have Motor City Machine Guns. That one team beats WWE's whole division right there. They've got Beer Money, Generation Me, Inc., London Brawling, who just became a team, and they're already more credible than any of those jobber teams in WWE. And why? Because TNA actually puts effort into their tag team division. They work hard at packaging their teams and promoting them. WWE doesn't give a shit about tag team wrestling, and it could not be more obvious. I mean, they just had their tag team champions get destroyed by Kane, for Christ's sake. They just had a #1 contenders match between two teams of randomly paired singles wrestlers who have done absolutely nothing to earn a title shot. Truth and Morrison are not a tag team. Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre are not a tag team. Santino and Vladimir Kozlov are not a tag team. They're two singles wrestlers thrown together for the purpose of filling a spot. That's it. A team is not someone and someone. You know what would make them a tag team? If you gave them matching ring gear, tandem offense, a team name, team merchandise, and actually market them and push them as a tag team. This is what TNA does when they want to create a new team. Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley became Motor City Machine Guns. James Storm and Robert Roode became Beer Money. Freaking Shannon Moore and Jesse Neal became Ink Inc. And I don't even like those guys together, but I do think of them as a team now. This is one of the few things that TNA does really well. They push their tag team division. They have tournaments. Hell, they just had a best of 5 series where the Guns and Beer Money freaking went to war over those titles. Their tag titles are portrayed as being something very important, as something that every team in the company wants. WWE just don't care. They don't give a rat's ass about their tag titles. The Hart Dynasty are jobbers. They're on freaking Superstars, a show nobody even watches. Those belts are absolutely worthless, whereas TNA's tag team belts are probably the second most important championship in the whole company. There. I hope that clears things up for you. Well, that's it for Q&A. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I didn't get to every question you sent in, but there were some questions that I'd answered before on here or in other places, and there were some questions that I really just didn't have a good answer to. But I did the best I could, and now I leave you with what you all came here to see. Hilarious outtakes, with questions that didn't quite make the cut. Enjoy! Yes. Not dying. Fuck you! That's why! That's because you're an idiot. Kill yourself.